As the man from Modesto, over the years, people have asked me, as I have asked the Holy Spirit, when do we know that it's time to leave the United States of America? So last month I moved out of the U.S., and I'm going to explain to you how the Holy Spirit let me know about that. And I'm sure the Holy Spirit interacts the same with all of us, so this is something that you can look forward to, that the Holy Spirit will also move you in the same way. First of all, both my wife and I, for a few months previous to our move, began to perceive that our time was coming. So the Holy Spirit let our spirits know, and we began to understand that, and we began to talk about it. So we did simple things like get rid of things that we were sure we wouldn't take with us. So this meant trips to the dumpster and trips to the Goodwill, things that were still usable by someone else. So we were doing that. So we knew for a few months in advance that the time for us was coming. Now, a few years ago, I had begun to pray, and I said, Lord, when you want me to leave, just give me a month in which I will earn $10,000, and if I have a month like that, I'll move. So that'll be a way that you can let me know. And I kept praying about that off and on, now and then. But I began to think like, oh, that's kind of a ridiculous thing. You know, like God doesn't have to do that for me. He can do whatever He wants. But then in October of 2012, I began to think, actually, you know, that was probably the Holy Spirit who moved me that way, and God can absolutely do that, and that's a sign that He can give for me. So I reaffirmed myself with strong conviction that if I were to make $10,000 in a month, then I would certainly move. Now, understand that it would be amazing if I made $4,000 in a month. So $10,000 was a statistically significant event, and it's something that's never happened to me before in my entire life. So I reaffirmed, I can set my heart, like I definitely will move if this happens. That was in October sometime. In the first week of November, I received $10,000. I mean, I'm talking about paid, not promised or contracted or something like this. Received checks that I cashed. So in the first 10 days, I had the $10,000. We bought the tickets and we moved. So the Lord gave us a strong sign. He let us know in our hearts. We perceived that we were going to be moving. So He set up everything and showed us that we would be moving. So I did move. It doesn't really matter where I moved. Everybody has their own location that they should go to. You should be praying to God. You should be praying for some time. You need to understand what God's going to do for you. One of the big points is that I wasn't really afraid to pray that God would give me a $10,000 a month, because I understood that every time in my life when I've needed to do something, God provided for me everything that I needed, and He's going to be doing the same for you. Now, the first week after I moved and arrived at my new location, the Holy Spirit showed me a dream. I've written that down on my dream blog. I'm going to provide a link in the description of the video, and you can go and look at that. It's on my dream blog, dreamtraining.blogspot.com. You can see that. This is the man from Modesto, reminding you as always to pray or be defeated.